All right, guys, we're going to change things up again today. Enough of those disc detainers and pins and pin tumbler. Let's try a regular Dimple lock. This one is, I don't know anything about this company. FCV, I will look it up, and if I can find anything about this company, I'll put it down there in the description. But you can see this thing is super nasty. This is very well used. I did put some solvent and a steel brush on the key because all the cracks were just full of this black gunk. So a lot of that black gunk is probably still inside the lock. So you can see it's a 6-pinner. Got some excellent pinning, a lot of high-low there. It does work, but I noticed that it's a little hard to get in, and sometimes it snags just a little bit. There we go. It does work, but it does kind of hang up a little bit once in a while. But anyway, let's see if we can get this guy picked. I'm going to clamp him up. I'm going to clamp up the long end because there's more for the vise to grab a hold. And we'll try to pick it kind of, oriented European style. Let's see what happens. All right, that ought to hold him. I did try to find a tensioner and a pick before we started, save some time, and I want to explain to you why I'm not using the multi-pick. This is the thinnest one, the BMS 10, and this lock has some pretty extraordinary warding. He won't fit in this way, which is how I usually like to fit him in, but the backup, of course, is to go like this, but because of the really short profile caused by that warding, he won't go in that way either. So I'm going to have to fall back on my bottom of the keyway. Let's try the fat one first. He gives me pretty good control. Okay, it's not ideal. So if this FCV has any security pins, I like a spool. I'm going to have a little trouble controlling it, but let's hope for the best. I also tried to find a good pick, and this is the number 3 from the multi-pick kit. It's the one with, you can see, just a little bit of curve, and the way I always check these is I'm going to index, obviously the pins are on the bottom here because that's the stack. I'm going to index from the top right corner. And then if you put him on the front, you can see that he kind of rolls over and reaches almost all the way to the bottom of that warding. So I have 2 more with more curve, but I hate to start with them because they like to get stuck in keyway. So we'll start with the least amount of curve I think I might need, and then we'll escalate from there. And we put this guy here. Make sure he's not pinching, and I'm just going to put him over a little bit like that and see if that works. I'm going to try to keep my hand out of the frame, this hand, my tensioning hand, but I am using heavy tension. So let's try it. Take this guy, index on the right, shove him back till I hit a speed bump. There it is. Feels like 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, maybe not. He fell right out of the way. All right, so now we're on 4 or 5. Hope that's focusing on the lock and not my thumb. All right, that was 1 click on 4. All right, I'm going to have to go back to 4. Oh, there's 3 again. Got a little click. All right, that is 5. He's popped back up. So if I can get above him, and got a nice little click on him. 6. Little click on him. Now I'm stuck behind 4. I can't get the pick out. I'm going to try to pick him from coming from the back going forward as I extract. Come on. Whoa, okay, that didn't work too good. Went right by him, but I'm also stuck on, appears like pin number 1, again from the rear. So I'll try to pick him. Okay, I felt a click. Feels like 2. Now we got a little bit of a fault set. Tiny little click. It's so little I can't even for sure say that it's a spool, but let's see if we get any counter rotation. I'm on pin 4. Feels like 4. Might be 3. A little difficult to tell. And there we go. All right. I hesitate to say that there's a spool. I didn't feel any counter rotation, but it certainly felt like some kind of security pin. So let's go ahead and gut him and take a look. What I noticed on this, unfortunately, is when you look at these little washers that I normally am able to cut or get a screwdriver and pry out of there. These, unfortunately, are the permanent ones. There's no cut in them. So they were put on during assembly, and then they were crimped in place permanently. So I may as well just cut this lock like I usually do and make for an easy gutting. So let me cut it, and we'll come back and take a look. All right, guys, got this guy chopped in half. This is the side that I picked, and it is still picked. All the guts fell out. So let's just move all of the parts that don't apply out of here so I don't get confused. We'll just set them up there somewhere. All right, this one is still intact. You can see that washer, that little retention ring. That's how they crimped them in place during assembly. So I've got to cut that in order to get this tailpiece off. And I can replace it later with a circlip when I reassemble this. I'm going to cut it right about, I guess, right there. If I'm lucky. That seems to work. I'm going to cut it over here too, just to make it easier to remove. Let everything fly around the bench, and it is still open. And the pins are on this side, so I'll flip it like that. I don't see anything on the top that would screw us up. And let's get a follower. And just see how bad we're going to screw this gutting up, Bill. All right, look at all of that goop that was in there. That's what I'm talking about. That's really nasty. All 6 pins are still there, covered with grease. If I can get them to come out. I mean, this is some kind of nasty. I won't have to lube my hands for a while. I know you guys always want me to use hand lotion so my hands don't look so dried out, but I won't need it after this for sure. Come out, come out. All right, these are reduced diameter. These are about the same diameter as, say, American or Master. I'll get focus here. I don't see anything weird about the core. No serrations, striations, no undercuts, nothing like that. So if there's any magic, it's going to be upstairs. Let me wipe some of this stuff off so I don't drop too many things. All right, he's barely sticking out a standard. I'm going to leave the spring in place because he's not sticking. There we go. I knew there was at least one spool, at least strongly suspected it. I didn't know anything. And it has a longer spring, it seems like, because that first one didn't even pop up. Number 3, standard. Again, the spring shot above the shear line. There's another spool that I did not even detect. Again, a longer spring. I'm going to pull out number 1 when we're done just to look at him. He may be caught up down there somehow. Okay, another standard. And the last one. Oh, another spring sticking way up. Come out. I bent him. My bad. And the last one, whoa, standard. It's only 2 spools. All right, let's go back and pull out number 1. Why is he the only one that didn't pop up? I see him down there. He just doesn't want to come out. Look at all the gunk. He was there. He was just hung up on gunk. It's almost like glue down the side of there. All right, guys, there you go. 6-pinner, only 2 spools. The rest are standards, but they are smaller diameter. Seem to be a pretty good tolerance lock. Again, I don't know anything about FCV. If I find it, I will put it in the description. Anyway, guys, appreciate your time. Stay safe, stay legal, and keep cracking on these bad boys. They're not that difficult. Just takes a little practice. Different feel, different skill. Thanks, guys.